Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna open up one of these Panini Prism packs during this video. Hey, real talk, dude. Hey, listen, hey, we're looking to make history. Hey, we're looking to go beyond measures. Hey, we're looking to pull an ultra rare manga card. Ain't nobody else ever pulled a stuff like that and hit it big on eBay. Hey, real talk, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, listen. Hey, we're looking to pull an ultra rare numbered Prism card that's more rare compared to other numbered cards that's been pulled and stuff like that every day and go viral on YouTube. Hey, real talk though, ladies and gentlemen. And without further ado, let's hit it big, boo.
Here's our BBB&JOEB, and the BBB, baby, BBB&JOEB, rock cocked and Joe Morelli. BBB&JOEB, and the BBB, baby, BBB&JOEB, rock cocked and Joe Morelli. We're coming in, only seeking the truth about JFK. It's a long-coming podcast crew. Tell 'em, Joe, here we go.
And here we go.
Here we go indeed. What's up, everybody? Welcome in to episode number 362 of the Lone Gunman Podcast. I am one of your hosts, the Triple B, Rob Clark, and along with me, as per the usual, handsome Joe Borelli.
Thank you, sir. That's the nicest thing you said to me in a long time.
Yeah. I was going to say Scafuza, but, I decided to be nice,
I appreciate
Right.
that. It is It is Friday after all. So, but yeah, man. Hopefully you had a good week. I know we had a bangers members only show on Wednesday where
we finally had it. Yes.
Followed up on a bunch of the Thornley stuff, which was really cool, and talked about some other drama as we do on the Wednesday show. So if you aren't a member, definitely become one. What are you waiting for?
Or a spook, which is the lowest level. We make the last Wednesday show of the month available to you, so you can go back and watch it. Just go into our playlist and click on members only, and everything available to you should show up. So check it out if you haven't yet. If you think you couldn't get and watch it, you can. So definitely check it out.
Get the horn ready.
Uh-oh.
Our favorite Rocket Queen, Colleen.
Wow, long time no see. Thank you, Colleen. What is it? Hippo character with the pink hat flips it backward and raises his thumb up in the air. I guess that's an emoji. She's giving us a thumbs up. We love you, Colleen. We've missed you. Welcome back.
Yes, we appreciate it.
You're a rock star.
And yeah, I'll welcome some people in. Tiny was first, although it doesn't show on Restream, and she said first with a gold medal, and we hope she is recovering well.
Yes. Thank you for having nothing better to do than to join us here at the Lone Gunman Podcast, Tiny, while you're laid up. We appreciate it.
Yeah, she made the comment as soon as you put up the episode, I think.
She even shows up when she has something better to do. So we love Tiny and we appreciate her. So yes.
Yeah. And speaking of people that have something better to do tonight, the Double B will be taking his mother out for Indian food for her birthday. So he will not be here.
Easy on the curry, Mrs. B.
I said, why don't you take her out to some real food, Italian? But maybe that's her favorite. So happy birthday to Mother Double B.
Yes, happy birthday.
And Trey will be driving to Shreveport, and it was his birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Trey!
Of course, Trey's driving to Shreveport.
Of course. So
where else would you celebrate your birthday?
Yeah, sounds like
Skid Row in Shreveport, Louisiana.
So he won't be commenting. Or maybe
at the gay 90s.
Yeah, maybe he'll get the missus to type in his comments for him as he drives.
There you go.
Drive safe. But We had Mr. Jack Taylor, who I was texting with earlier today. How are you? James Smith, EV, South to West said, "Is it Friday already?" And I said, "Yeah, tell me about it." They're coming quick, man. They're coming
What do you
quick.
get? The faster they come.
Sally was here earlier. Sooner Scooter, Mr. Paul Cummings.
What's up, fellas?
Good evening. Bill Shelley was not at the trademark with LHO. And I think that's,
We will discuss.
yes, we promise. Paul, how are you? PSV Odyssey, howdy, howdy, howdy.
Paul?
Thank you for joining us. Yes, happy Friday, everyone. Colleen. And again, thank you.
Yes.
What are you talking about? Ruby Murray is delicious. I'm talking about American Indian food, not whatever you consider curry in Ireland or Britain.
Icy haggis.
I bet they're somewhat significantly different. But I could be wrong.
We're not eating sheep testicles over here, Sally. Calm down.
Roger, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Lee Harold Oswald in the house.
And I don't know what I had said to make Rocket Queen Colleen give 3 laughing face emojis for Joseph, but I am funny. So that is it. I'm sure more will join in, but thank you, Colleen. And yeah, bro.
Yes, folks. Tony Holman just showed up. Folks, if you're here and you haven't smacked that like button yet, do it for me. We'd appreciate it. Just smack the hell out of it. And I've seen something new on YouTube, Joe. So you can hype somebody's videos. I don't know what this is.
Yes.
Hype our shit, please.
Okay. So you know when you go into the comment section, because you know where all our hypes are coming from?
I don't even know what a hype is.
Okay. It's coming from me and my burner account. I've been experimenting with it. When you know how you can, when you have the comments, when you click on the YouTube video, say you're watching it tomorrow morning, you can go to the live chat replay whenever that comes out, usually within 24 hours. If you swipe one more, there's a button that says hype, and it has to do with like the number ones, number twos, number threes, and the live comment section. So like the more you comment, the more points you get to hype. So I have like 2,000 points to hype, and I've been hyping it every day because I guess you could hype it every day. And maybe that helps with the algo. We're not sure.
We hope.
It definitely can't hurt, I'd say, Rob.
Right.
So scroll to the right one more after the live chat replay, and then click hype, and let's see if it makes any difference.
Hell yeah.
So
we shall try. All right. Without further ado, go ahead, Joe.
Indian cuisine is the most popular cuisine in the United Kingdom proper. Learn something new every day.
It's probably because you got a lot of them people over there. It's just like Mexican food is like really popular here. There's a lot of them here.
Yeah.
I would say Mexican or Chinese is probably the most popular non-American food here.
Right.
Depending on where you're at, obviously.
Right. South to West says, I still don't understand the number one thing in the chat. Yeah, join the club. We don't either. It is new within the past like month or two. But I think the more you comment, the more you're engaged.
The more hype you get to give. I don't know.
Yeah, it means like you're a number one fan or a number two fan. I think that's how it goes.
But hopefully, like Joe says, it helps the algo put our show in front of other eyes that don't normally see it.
Yeah. Well, Colleen's carrying a bunch of hypes. So tomorrow when they let us hype it up.
Hell yeah.
So, all right, Mr. William H. Shelley.
Hoyt. Hoity-toity. That's a middle name for you.
That is they had interesting ones back then.
Where is a young Bill Shelley here? Look at this handsome little fella. And he actually went by Hoyt when he was little.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see here, he even signed it, and it says something. The woman I love for the woman I love, Hoyt Shelley.
Yeah.
So he must have been in love with somebody back in the day, Joe.
Yep.
You can see here he was a lieutenant in his ROTC.
Yep. He's signing a yearbook here. That's what this is.
He was
from.
in the Diamond. What the hell is that?
Diamond
Disc
Disc
Club. Maybe a frisbee fanatic.
Rifle Team, 1942. Interesting.
Yeah, rifle
And the-
team.
And the Tech Talk staff,
Yeah,
which is interesting, in 1943 or 4, whenever this was.
you don't know what breaking edge tech was going on back then, but
That's what I'm saying. It's interesting. Yeah.
we just got round tires.
Yeah.
I'm really into them. But yeah, that's William Hoyt.
Yes. And of course, one of the big questions surrounding Mr. Bill Shelley is, was he connected to intelligence? Was he possibly pictured with Oswald in New Orleans giving out pamphlets in the background? Did he possibly have some role to play in the assassination? And
We'll get there. We promise.
yeah, I haven't made up my mind. I tried to by the end of these episodes, but we will see.
Yeah, we're going to slow walk you there. We promise. So let's start back at the beginning, Joe. It's William Hoyt Shelley's humble beginnings.
Okay.
William Hoyt Shelley's humble beginnings. Here we go.
Am I doing this part?
William Hoyt Shelley's humble begin. You said you had the beginning stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Let me bring it up 1 second. It's not in my PowerPoint, but I closed the tab.
Oh Lord. Hold, please. We need the Jeopardy theme song.
Mm-hmm.
That's not it. That's not it either, but it's kind of appropriate for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Bill Shelley was born in 1926 in Gunther, Texas. He attended Crozier High School during World War II, and I think that's the picture you had shown.
Yeah.
His early life is shrouded in some mystery, Rob. When he had left school, his first work was in defense plants during the war, and then commenced during the TSBD. Started working for the Texas School Book Depository in October 1945. Okay, so right after the war ended, about a year or so. I'm just going to the end of my PowerPoint here because it's towards the end. These pictures.
Now, of course, the building, the Elm Street building that we all have become so familiar with, was not actually the site of the Texas School Book Depository until 1963, the summer before the assassination. They had actually been at a different location. So it wasn't like Bill Shelley was here the whole time in that building. I think that fact gets lost on people sometimes, that they think that this building, well, I mean, the building itself had been there for a while and had gone through several incarnations. I think it was a coffee factory at some point, possibly a farm, like a John Deere deal, a wholesale grocery company, and I believe that outfit had stained a lot of the floors, which is what they were doing that day on November 22nd, was replacing the floors, the wooden floors on various floors of the warehouse part of the building. Like I said, they had only been in there for a couple months.
Right. And he was kind of the crew of the floor staff.
Yeah. They had previously been over in the Dow Tex building on the first floor.
Right.
And then there was a second warehouse just about a block or two over that they called the State Building, which is another Texas School Book Depository warehouse. Oh boy.
Yes. So this is actually, I guess we'll go in reverse chronological for this slide.
What in the hell happened to Bill Shelley at the end of his life?
Yeah, well, let's read his obituary. William Hoyt Shelley, 70, of Irving, died Friday, September 6th in Dallas. This is an article in the September 1996 news article, so probably local Dallas. Mr. Shelley was born April 12th, 1926 in Gunter. He retired from the TSBD, where he worked for over 40 years. He is survived by his wife, Maggie Marie Stapleton Shelley, sons William Boyd Shelley of Irving and Charles Reed Shelley of Mount Pleasant, and sisters Gertrude Hayes of Plainview, Jimmy Lee Robertson of Irving, and Mary Dell Gardner. Ooh. And husband
Daryl's mom,
Rufus of Greenville. Services were held September 11th at Brown's Memorial Funeral Home. And he was 70 years old when he passed. So
Daryl, what's your daddy's name? Rufus? Oh, Rufus Garner.
that would be interesting. If that matched up. So the question is, we saw his yearbook during the war that says he was an ROTC, so he was in training to be an officer. Now the contention is, and this is, by the way, from Bart Camp's prayer -man.com. I got this from. The contention is around, did he actually go into the army? Was he somehow in intelligence? The Warren Commission, as we'll get to in a little bit, completely glossed over. You know how when like all these Warren Commission testimonies, Rob, they go into like people's backgrounds for like an annoying amount of time?
Yeah.
They had one question about it, and that's it. And we'll get there. His Warren Commission testimony, I mean, I know we talked about Larry Crayford's being one of the longer ones at 33. His is about 7.5. And then he had a Warren Commission testimony ×2 when they brought some of the TSBD employees back to clarify some things, was less than 3 pages. So for Oswald's direct report to be glossed over, in my opinion, is a little sus to me. And as I read this, because I've read a lot of Warren Commission testimonies, and they usually talk a lot about the background, but almost nothing with Bill Shelley. So on the left is a newspaper article, also from Bart's site, and it says it's admissions to hospitals, right? As in like people wounded.
Yes.
William H. Shelley, Colorado City, Texas. Now, I don't know where Colorado City is in compared to Gunther or Dallas, but that is pretty interesting. So let me now go to the absolute start, and that is or do you want to do the New Orleans part first before I go into the DPD affidavits?
We can real quick, just to hey, what's up, Timothy?
Hey, Tim.
So let's see here. I think I have that picture here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is, of course, pulled from footage of WDSU taken of Oswald handing out leaflets in front of the International Trade Mart in New Orleans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the figure that the arrow is pointing to, the red arrow in each photo, there's actually two photos here side by side, different poses. The one on the left, you can kind of see the guy's profile and his glorious pompadour haircut there.
Yeah.
The one on the right is not as clear. He has his, I don't know if he's picking his nose or what he's doing there, or maybe scratching an itch on his face,
Yeah.
or really prescient that there is a camera on his ass right about now.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, just to be clear, Bill Shelley never, ever said that he was in New Orleans in 1963. Ever. People put that picture forward because they say that it kind of looks like him. Okay, so I made another collage.
Okay.
Joe. Now, there's three photos at various points in Shelley's life, most of them from the 22nd of November. There's three photos, and I tried to put them as close as I could to the figure in the photo.
Right.
Okay.
They're in the middle, correct.
Yeah. Now, I admit there's a somewhat of a resemblance.
They're 100% is a resemblance.
Yes. But let's think about things logically for a second, folks.
Yes.
Bill Shelley works in Dallas at the School Book Depository. Okay. They haven't even moved into, well, they may have just started, or I think they moved in August to the Elm Street building. And of course, this event happened in August.
Yeah.
So him being a foreman or a supervisor at the School Book Depository, you would think he would be an integral part of moving the operation from one building to another and getting the new building set up to do business. Or am I just crazy, Joe?
You are not. It's very logical thinking.
Yes. I mean, we're stepping through logically here, folks.
Yep.
Again, from everything that we know, there's been zero interaction between William Shelley and Lee Harvey Oswald yet. Oswald would not start employment at the School Book Depository until the middle of October 1963, some 2 months after this photo was taken.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this could be just a random any fucking body. It doesn't even have to be anybody related to the case, Joe, really.
Right.
You know, it could just be some random scafuza standing there reading the pamphlet.
Smoking a cigarette outside of the building. Who the hell knows? Right?
Yeah. I mean, it could just be any rando.
Yeah. And I believe this date. So Oswald was arrested August 9th, obviously. I believe this was taken on August 16th.
Yes.
The 20th also comes to my mind, but I believe it's the 16th. But it's in that range.
Yes. Now, the reason I included the two pictures at the bottom, okay, you see the two mugshots at the bottom?
I do.
On the right, we have Thomas Beckham and what he looked like in 1962. Okay. Now, he's got the squinty eyes, the pompadour haircut, right?
Yeah, the same receding hairline, kind of.
Yeah. And of course, he would have been a year older in the picture above than he is in the mugshot. And then we have on the left, we have a picture of Thomas Beckham in 1972, 10 years later, in which he is still rocking said pompadour haircut, along with some sweet mutton chop sideburns.
Yes.
So Beckham was definitely a fan of the pompadour type haircut, right? He liked to primp. He loved the ladies and all that. And we know, obviously, he was in New Orleans at this time. I mean, he's arrested there in 1962. He didn't leave until much later. He was there in 63. And oh, by the way, folks, here is what Thomas Beckham says about this incident. In fact, this is from his HSCA interview with Burris and Delso. Okay. He says, of course, they're talking about anti-communist Cubans, and they're talking about Sergio Acosta. They're talking about Lawrence Howard. And Burris asked him, was Lee Harvey Oswald a visitor at the church? And he said, yeah, Lee. Lee was, well, I knew Lee. I knew him real well. What? So was he? And Beckham says, as a matter of fact, quite a few times. Lee talked about his friend, the chief, that was to help him. And I know for a fact, and I believe in my heart, and I know he had no reason to lie. One time I just told him if he didn't stop some of his crazy stuff, he used to make me so mad. He said the chief would take care of me. I said, why don't you stop this silly stuff? He said, no, the chief, which he told was the head of the FBI then, which was Hoover. He said, didn't worry about those local FBI, that the chief would take care of him.
Also possibly referring to Bannister as the chief as well.
That he had his ends, and that was no worry. Lee, as a matter of fact, one day, here we go, folks, pay attention. One day I met Lee in front of the old International Trade Mart building. He was giving out some kind of a free Cuba pamphlet or something. And we went, after he was done, down there on Canal Street and had a Coke. And he told me that particular day he was just on television or something, which he was. This is from the footage. But in another meeting I met with Lee was that when we talked about just getting back from Mexico, and he was going to be coming into some money. I think this was in September, if I'm not mistaken. And he talked about his trip to Mexico and said he'd be coming into some funds. And then they go on and talk about a whole bunch of other shit. But so, and I don't know how much you can trust Thomas Beckham. I really don't. He says some crazy shit, but he also says a lot of interesting shit. But when you're talking about, is this guy Bill Shelley or was he Thomas Beckham? I'm going to put a little bit more weight on the Thomas Beckham side of things because A, we know he was there in New Orleans. He admitted to being there when Lee was handing out these pamphlets and he got caught on film doing it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that carries a little more weight than the Bill Shelley. There's just no logic with the Bill Shelley, Joe.
Yeah, I'm going to actually take logic a little further, if possible.
Please do.
If that was Shelley, hypothetically, okay, that means by mid-August, the operation of Frame Oswald was already fully in action. He traveled from Dallas to New Orleans without anyone knowing about it. Was either caught in a picture or recruited him to work at the TSBD for operation more than 3 months later. And then you're going to have to make Lily Mae Randall and Ruth Payne lie about how they got him the job at the TSBD, which, granted, I don't think it was hard to make Ruth lie, but it expands the conspiracy in a major way.
Right.
Right? More people involved, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that to me really makes it not likely. Although I have to admit, it does look a lot like him. It does.
Here's a picture of Beckham rocking the pompadour.
Yep.
again, and here as well. And again, I don't know if it's Beckham, but he's a suspect, right?
Right.
Joe?
Yeah,
Definitely a suspect, especially in this photo. And this is as close as 1963 as you're going to get.
I agree.
It was like a year before that footage was taken, when he was, younger looking, skinny, squinty eyes, pompadour haircut.
I will say, Rob, the only thing that gives me some hesitation is how he was dressed in this suit. Right? We know how Shelley was dressed when him and a couple other TSBD employees were detained and brought to the DPD headquarters. Right? The white shirt.
Dude, these guys wore suits back then.
Right. Beckham, though? Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying that's like one point that like makes me question it. But I do not believe it. And Paul Cummings had a good comment, and I did come
And
across
again,
this.
if Bill Shelley's not at work at the school book depository, what the fuck does he need to wear a suit in New Orleans for?
Right.
Even
I did,
Oswald's wearing a tie.
yeah, that's true. I did come across this in my readings today. Larry Hancock has stated that it is Gordon Beckham and not Shelley in this picture.
Do what?
Larry Hancock has stated that he believes it's Beckham and not Shelley in this picture.
Yes.
Many times, like over the years.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to star that message. I have a couple more ones. Gunter is just north of Dallas, and Colorado City is way the hell out in West Texas, at least 200 miles. Well, that's interesting because I guess that's where this William H. Shelley was admitted to the hospital. We have no idea of what he could have been doing.
Or what base he was at in the military. He could have been on some base that's near Colorado City.
Right.
There's
But,
a lot of army bases around Texas back then.
yeah, that is true. Timothy Ryan says a random scafuza in regards to the Shelley pick.
It could just very well be a random scafuza from the street.
It very well could be. Dang, how many times was Beckham arrested?
A lot.
A few.
Dude had a rap sheet. He was a con man. What do you expect?
And Mr. James Smith
He's one of these
agreed.
people that, and he would tell you, you dress the part to be the part. So if you want respect, if you want to be treated a certain way, you dress a certain way, Joe.
Right.
You dress in a suit. If you playing the part of that, guy that needs to be respected for whatever reason, you wear a suit.
All right.
If you
100%.
want to be respected for other things, you wear a collar. Like a priest. You act the part.
Yeah.
You carry the right shit. You carry yourself like you know what you're doing, like you're supposed to be there. And it's crazy what you can get away with.
That is true. There's a funny video of a YouTube account that just that dress up as maintenance workers and carries ladders into like super secured areas, and they get in all the time.
Yeah, because they act like you're supposed to be there.
Right. Exactly. So who knows? James says, I agree, gotta be Beckham. I think that's the most likely, and I think to assume, like I was pointing out, that it would be Shelley would then include a lot more people in the conspiracy.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know how much of Beckham's bullshit to believe, but he put himself there in 1978 during this interview. So to me, that
Right.
carries a little weight because at this time, Joe, you had to be a serious fucking researcher to even know that there was footage of this incident with Lee Oswald. And there just happens to be a guy in the fucking picture that looks just like me, so I'll just say I was there.
Exactly. There's no internet. Right.
I
You
mean,
can't Google it.
how has Beckham said that, and then there's not a guy in the picture that looks like him.
Right. Yeah.
But there actually is a guy in the picture that looks like him. So it's one of those things where, could be, couldn't be. If it is Beckham, then to me, you got to give a little more credence to what he's been saying all these years.
It's true. I agree. Colleen said in a previous episode, you all convinced me that it wasn't Shelley. That might have been BJ, but yeah.
Before Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah, not an actual BJ. Jack Taylor, wear a suit to an NFL game and you can walk around anywhere in the stadium. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I have a funny story.
Throw a couple lanyards on, turn them backwards, like you're some important swinging dick.
Yeah.
Couple
Funny
big
story.
rings and a nice watch, Joe. I mean, be well shaved and coiffed and look like you're supposed to be there.
Yeah, and these days it's even easier actually. There's a story. I met an ESPN radio host who goes to my same barber, right? And I went up to the box once, the ESPN box at Madison Square Garden during the Rangers game, and walked in and sat with them for the second, third period, right? And every game since, I just have walked in that suite with free hot dogs, free soda, free water, free pretzels. And if I ever get stopped, I go, oh, my uncle's that host.
Yeah.
And we have not gotten stopped once because we acted like we were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
No one knows anyone in those suites. They're all randomly invited. So, yes, to your point, look the part, be the part, for sure. So, all right. So now that we got through that, let's go, as we like to do, Rob, chronologically through the statements.
Yes, I'm curious to see what Bill Shelley said. And this is same day?
This is the same day, and he actually had 2 DPD affidavits and an FBI interview.
Okay.
So this is DPD affidavit. I believe it's 1. It doesn't give a timestamp.
Now, by the way, everybody, just so you know, Bill Shelley was one of several folks that was arrested and taken down to the police station that day.
Well, Rob,
yes.
I actually don't agree with arrested. I would prefer the detained for questioning.
Well, I would prefer a 5'9" blonde bombshell, but you don't always get what you want, Joe.
That's true.
And sometimes you're not escorted by an armed police officer and then get a gun shoved in your face, much like Bill Shelley did, crammed in the back of a cop car with Danny Arce, Bonnie Ray Williams, and Jack Doherty.
Right.
Okay. And Billy Lovelady, which, by the way, most of the floor crew. Okay. I mean, they were all on the floor crew that day. So that should tell you something. I would say taken down to the station against your will is arrested. Maybe not formally charged with anything, but definitely, and not putting handcuffs and force down, but
right.
You're taking these guys down to the station.
Yeah, I mean, they're being detained, right? And they're saying, come down to the station, give us statements, which we're going to go through all of their statements here.
Yep. So they got Bill Shelley. You can't see Bonnie Ray, but he's with them. So you got a black guy, you got a Mexican, you got Danny Arce, and you got another goofy white guy, Jack Doherty.
Retard.
Half a retard, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't think he is or was.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But yeah, so these guys are taken down, and here we go with the affidavit, Joe. So what does it tell us?
All right. So today, approximately 12:30 p.m., November 22nd, I was standing on the front steps. This is William H. Shelley, Bill Shelley, at 411 Elm, watching the president in the parade. The president's car was about halfway from Houston Street to the triple underpass when I heard what sounded like 3 shots. I couldn't tell where they were coming from. I ran across the street to the corner of the park. So pay attention to this. I ran across the street to the corner of the park and ran into a girl crying, and she said the president had been shot. This girl's name is Gloria Calvary, who is an employee of the same building. I went back to the building and went inside and called my wife and told her what happened. I was on the first floor then, and I stayed at the elevator and was told not to let anyone out of the elevator. I left the elevator and went with the police on up to the other floors. I left semi-retard Jack Doherty in charge of the elevator.
You're in charge, Captain Doofy. Yes, sir.
So that is the first one. This is the second one, day of, and this is it's on the top here, 22nd of November. Approximately October 10th or 12th, 63, a man by the name of Lee Oswald. Okay, so let me put this in context. When these scafoozas from the TSBD floor crew were put in the cop car, Rob,
Yes.
they did not know Lee was arrested at the Texas Theater.
Of course not.
They saw him for the first time in DPD headquarters.
Yes.
Which is why a lot of their first statements don't reference Oswald. And you got to wonder why they're taking the second one here from Shelley. I've been working. I was put in charge of him by Mr. Truly to show him what to do. I have been working close with this man since he has been there. This man stayed by himself most of the time, and he would go for a walk at noontime. Lee would bring his lunch and usually eat with us in the lounge and read the paper. He would usually read about politics. Today I arrived for work at 8 a.m. and went about my usual duties. Lee was already filling some orders just outside my office. I saw him periodically all morning, with the exception of when we were on the 6th floor. At noon, I started eating my lunch in my office and I went outside, he says around 12:15, to see the president. After the president's accident, that's a nice way of putting it, I started checking around and I missed Lee. I asked Mr. Truly about him and he told me he had not seen him. I didn't see Lee until the police brought him into the police homicide bureau. Right?
Yeah. Now we don't have footage of these guys in the station in particular, but we do. There is a photo out there of part of footage that does show Billy Lovelady sitting in the police station as they're bringing Oswald in handcuffs, and he's sitting there just watching them bring Oswald in. Like,
I have it here.
Oh, well, God bless you.
Somewhere.
Maybe.
Let me just go to. I am going through the Prayer Man website, which has a bunch of good stuff on this. Where is it? Hold on. Okay. I think I have it somewhere
here. Yes, Timothy's probably thinking, glad that ain't me.
Okay. I have it here. Thank you guys for your patience.
Two hours later.
Yeah, right. This is the meme.
While you're looking for that, Joe, I'm going to do a commercial. Folks.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about you guys, but as you know, we endorse Silk City hot sauce around here because it is damn delicious hot sauce, and it helps support the show when you buy some and use our code. The link is in the description. Also, I don't know about you guys, but I probably drink 3 big cups of water every day. And I like my water to be ice flipping cold. Okay. And I came across some of the coolest cups. They're not Yetis. This is something called the coldest, right? Kind of like the illest. These are the coldest cups that I've ever ran across. These will keep your shit cold and ice in there for up to 36 hours, which is insane.
Is that where you keep your smoothies in?
No. But if I did, they would remain cold for a very long time. And on the converse, it will keep something hot for 24 hours, like piping hot, like coffee, if that's what you're into.
Mhm.
And it comes with 3 different lids. This is the gulper lid, right? You pop that shit open like that, and you can gulp.
I hear the gulping.
There's a sipper lid for hot beverages like coffee, and then there's one with a straw. You know, if you're a fancy girl and you drink out of a straw. I do not drink out of straws, Joe. I've not used a straw since I was a teenager.
Fair enough.
I throw them back at the waitress when they try to give me one at a restaurant. I said, "This is for pussies. I do not use a straw. Thank you." But back to the cup. Now I don't know if you can see that, and it's probably backwards, but I got mine engraved with the Lone Gunman podcast on it.
Oh wow.
And it's a very cool, trippy looking cup, and they have all kinds of cool different designs that you can pick from, a bunch of different sizes that you can pick from. And if you use our code, our link that's in the description, and our code, which is TLG10, you will get a 10% discount off of your coldest cup.
Oh.
And it helps support the show as well.
We have a new sponsor.
Yeah, coldest.
You're just gonna drop that on me. Wow.
Well, they saw that I personally engraved the name of a podcast on here, and they sent me an email and said, "Hey, would you like to be an affiliate marketer?" And I said, "Sure." And
Hell
they
yeah.
said, "Here's a code." And I
Hell
said,
yeah.
"Okay, cool." So if you're looking for a cup that keep your shit cold and hot for a very long time, I highly recommend the coldest. Like I said, you can get it for a little bit of a discount. Use the link below. The code is TLG10. And holy highness,
Very nice.
the double B with curry in his lips drops a deuce on us, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
Better late than never. Oh boy, man, he must have ate and ran, dropped mom off, and got home and said, I got to watch the boys." So thank you, Brandon.
Thank you so much, sir.
I'm just confusing here while Joe tries to find a
Yes, I have.
whatever.
I have it ready, sir.
Oh, anyway, that's the coldest. So if you want a cool ass cup, you can get your name on there. Like you can get double B put on there. You can put Scafuzo on there. You can put Rocket Queen on there.
Yeah. No, it sounds perfect for my iced coffee.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to order that. So thank you, sir.
Well, make sure you use our code to get the discount.
I definitely will. I definitely will. TLG10, right?
TLG10. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
But the link is in the description to this show below. And then put in the code to check out. You'll save yourself 10%. And these things aren't cheap. They are high quality craftsmanship, and they just got the coolest designs. I mean, if you're a chick, you definitely dig them. I mean, they got like flowery ones and all kinds of cool ones. Even for goth people, they got Halloween themed ones, like dragon scales, ghosts, skeletons.
That's pretty cool.
Artwork like Van Gogh type shit. So yeah, they got all kinds of stuff.
I love the different lids. I'm like really intrigued by this. So I'm definitely going to check it out. Thank you, Robert. All right. So here is the 11-second video of Love Lady seeing Oswald being led past him. Oswald being let in.
There he is.
Love lady. Yep. Hold on. There he is. Bald spot and all.
Rolling.
Same shirt that we see him kind of leaning over the side that a lot of people thought was Oswald initially.
Yep.
And there you see Lee, right? So they're
Yep.
not, they're like right next to each other, led right by them.
Now hold on a second, Joe. Oh, I guess I kind of see. Remember how he had a dark colored shirt on? It looks like he just has a. Go back to the beginning. Does he just have a white T-shirt on, or is that ugly ass brown shirt anywhere on his ass?
It seems like he has a white shirt on. As he's led by, long sleeve white shirt.
That's weird.
It's weird.
He never had a white shirt on when he was arrested, or a long sleeve white shirt on, arrested at the Texas Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he had that ugly brown shirt and a white T-shirt underneath of it.
Yep.
Not long sleeve.
Yep. And I want to show, because we're going to get into this in a second here.
Yes.
This is the alleged picture. I don't know if it's Darnell. It's in the description, but this is allegedly.
I think it's the couch film.
Yeah, Love Lady and Shelley walking in.
Now this is important because this is visual evidence of these two guys after the shooting leaving the steps of the depository and walking towards the grassy knoll.
Yeah.
This will be important later because it directly contradicts the testimony of somebody that you've heard of before named Vicki Adams.
Mm-hmm. And there's one more. I think this is gift number 2. Hold on. Oh. I don't know what's going on here. Do you see full screen right now? No. Let me.
No.
I'm gonna redo it.
I see a bunch of little screens.
Yeah. So I guess there it is, not slowed down. Them walking back in. So yes, that is going to become important. So back to the PowerPoint. Once I get it back up here. So we just read both of Shelley's affidavits day of, right? The first one, and I think the second one that refers to Oswald after he was brought in. Kind of, we saw him pass Love Lady, but I'm guessing something similar happened with Shelley. Now we're going to go to the Bill Shelley FBI statement. It says the 23rd, but it was done on the 22nd. Shelley, Mr. William Shelley, department manager, TSBD, furnished this information on the morning of November 22nd. Harvey Lee Oswald, who was an employee of the TSBD, appeared at work as usual and went about his occupation, filling orders for school books. He saw Oswald on 2 or 3 occasions during the morning and last saw him sometime between 11:45 a.m. and 12 noon, which would have been 45 to half an hour before the assassination, the shots, when he, Shelley, went to lunch. He did not see Oswald again on this date until he observed Oswald at the DPD, where he went at the request of the Dallas police officers. Oswald said nothing to him about leaving work early or going home, and he did not give Oswald permission to leave work. And this is another point of contention, Rob. Oswald saying in his interviews that, Shelley kind of said, I doubt work is going to continue today, which would have been obvious, right? It's a crime scene. So Oswald left work. Or did he leave nefariously? right? And Shelley is going to deny, and has always denied, that he let anyone leave, or he said someone could leave. Continuing, Mr. Shelley accompanied the agents to the 6th floor of the TSBD, where some bones, chicken bones, apparently the remains of fried chicken and accompanying wax paper, were observed on the front floor near the center window on the south side of the building. Mr. Shelley stated that he observed an employee early on the morning of November 22nd, and it is certain that those bones and wax paper were left there by this other employee and not by Oswald. Great, so we settled that. Mr. Shelley stated that he has never seen Oswald with a gun or rifle of any kind. Now we're going to fast forward, let's see, about 2 weeks-ish. This is an FBI key person report. I believe it's in the Warren Commission. Mr. William Shelley advised that no time clock or register of any kind is maintained for the warehouse employees. The only record maintained is the payroll record that shows whether the employee was present at a specific date. Mr. Shelley stated specifically that on the morning of November 22nd, he did not see Oswald with any package. In fact, did not actually see Oswald arrive at work, but did see him at about the time the work day commenced, and at that time Oswald had no packages. Mr. Shelley stated there was no way to determine whether employee or employees arrived for work at about the same time as Oswald. Fast forward a week later, another gets re-interviewed, and this is about whether Ruby knew Oswald, and long story short, Shelley says, no, I have no idea of the association, acquaintanceship, or connection between Ruby and Oswald. Now we go to March 18th, 64, and this is also in the Warren Commission, and this is kind of when they're getting their ducks in the row for their story, right? So we read their initial stories. Now it's going to kind of start coming together a little more, right? In little ways. I, William Shelley, made the following statement. Special agent to the FBI. On November 22nd, I left my office in the TSBD and walked just outside the front entrance of the building to watch the presidential parade motorcade pass. This was about 12:15 p.m. I recall that as the motorcade passed, I was standing just outside the glass doors of the entrance. At that time, JFK was shot. I was standing at the same place. Billy Lovelady, who works under my supervision, was seated on the entrance steps just in front of me. I recall that Wesley Frazier, Mrs. Sarah Stanton, and Mrs. Carolyn Arnold, also employees of the TSBD, were also standing in this entranceway at the time I was. I did not see Lee Harvey Oswald at the time of the shot. I did not observe any strangers in the building at any time during the morning of November 22nd. Immediately following the shooting, this is important, Billy Lovelady and I accompanied some uniformed police officers to the railroad yards just west of the building and returned through the west door of the building about 10 minutes later. I remained in the building until about 1:30 p.m. when I was asked to go to DPD to furnish an affidavit. I returned to TSBD about 5 o'clock, got my coat, blah, blah, blah. Lee Harvey Oswald worked under my supervision. He was at work when I arrived. He was going about his regular duties. He didn't notice anything off on Oswald. So then we get to his Warren Commission testimony. Let me make sure. Here, I'm just going to stop sharing as I found my place in my PowerPoint. But his story changed a little bit from that time, and it's going to change even more when we get to the Warren Commission testimony. As he says, he goes to the middle area, the island between Elm Street And his alibi, Mrs. Cavernly, as I will show, he was actually best man in her wedding. So quite a convenient witness to quote. Let me see. Yeah, do you have any comments you want to read while I find my place here?
Let's see here. We got James. Is Shelley saying he stood out in front and watched JFK pass by and didn't know what happened? At the very least, he sugarcoated it, when he had his accident, whatever that means. I mean, you gotta understand that they were on the front steps of the school book depository. The limo had passed. It's halfway down towards the overpass when shots rang out. So they're not exactly 100% clear on whether or not the president was even shot or not at that point. I'm sure they learned later for sure that that's what happened, but they may not at that time have known. I mean, I'm sure they heard the shots, but they might not have known if anybody was hit or killed or anything like that at that time until they started walking down towards the grassy knoll, and they would, obviously hear other people talking. Oh my God, I can't believe the president's been shot. As they get closer down to that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I am going, for some reason, my PowerPoint did not save some of the slides I made, but I want to talk about this very short 7.5 page testimony. This is number 1. This is the one that is not in my PowerPoint for some weird reason. Of Bill Shelley on April 7th, 1964. And, they go, where were you born? I was born in Gunter, Texas. High school education. What have you been doing since then? I worked in defense plants a little bit during the war and started working at the TSBD October 29th, 1955. Mr. Ball, I guess, had to go to the bathroom and returns and then asks him the same questions that I guess this other lady asked him. And he was kind of short with them. He goes, I already told her, which is kind of funny. And
time to fuck around, Joe. I mean, he already told her.
Yep. So on the 22nd of November 1963, did you see him come to work that morning? No. He was at work when I already was filling orders. We already went through that. Where did you go out front? Oh, several people were out there waiting to watch the motorcade, and I went out to join them. And who was there? Lloyd Viles of McGraw Hill, Sarah Stanton, Wesley Frazier, and Billy Lovelady joined us afterwards. Standing just outside the glass doors in the entrance. Did you see the motorcade pass? Yes. What did you hear? Well, I heard something sounded like it was a firecracker. A slight pause, and then 2 more a little bit closer together, which, of course, Rob, we've heard from a ton of witnesses, right? Second and third shots being closer together.
Now, this is a guy. This next bit comes from a guy who was on the rifle team and in the Army.
Yes. What seemed to be the direction of the source of the sound? Sounded like it came from the west. Mr. Ball, it sounded like it came from the west? ? Yes. Then what happened? Gloria Cavalry from Southwestern Publishing ran back up there crying and said the president has been shot. And Billy Lovelady and myself took across the street to that little old island, and we stopped there for a minute. Across the street? You mean directly south? Yes, slightly to the right. You know where the light is there. Yes, the little old street runs in front of our building in Elm Street. It dead ends. There's concrete between the 2 yards, blah, blah, blah. You went to the concrete between the 2 Elm Streets. Yes, where they split. Well, officer, you went out there, and then what did you do? Well, officer started running down to the railroad yards, and Billy and I walked down that way. How did you get down that way? What course did you take? We walked down the middle of the street. Did you see Mr. Truly? Mr. Truly as an officer going to the building? Yes, we saw them right in front of the building while we were on the island, which of course we showed a video where they were walking back in, where they were not on the island. While you were out there before you walked to the railroad yards, yes. Do you have any idea how long it was? It would have been 3 or 4 minutes, I would say, because this girl that ran back up there was near the car that was when the president was hit. He goes on and on about kind of his location.
Now pay attention, because that part is very important. So they stood on the front steps for 3 or 4 minutes until Gloria Calvary came back and said the president had been shot. And that is when they decided to walk down the street. Right? Isn't that what he just said?
Yep.
Okay.
Um,
Keep that in mind.
Did you see them go into the building, Truly and Baker? No, we didn't watch that long, but they were at the first step, like they were fixing to go in. Were they moving at the time, walking or running? Well, they were moving, yes. Running? Couldn't swear to that. Then he saw they went back into the side door into the shipping room. When you came to the shipping room, did you see anybody? Eddie Piper. What was he doing? He was coming back from where he was watching the motorcade on the southwest corner of the shipping room. And then they go into Vicki Adams a little bit.
Well, what does he say about Vicki Adams? Don't skip over
Okay.
that. They asked
Did
him, did you see her?
Did you ever see Vicki Adams? I saw her, Shelley said, but I don't remember where I saw her. You don't remember whether you saw her when you came back? It was after we entered the building. You think you did see her right after you entered the building? Question mark. Yes, sir. I thought it was on the 4th floor a while after that. Now, did police come into the building? Yes, sir. They started coming in pretty fast. Did you go with them anyplace? Yes. Mr. Truly left me guarding the elevator. Right, which he then delegated to Doherty, not to let anybody up or down the elevator or stairway, and some plain clothes men came in. I don't know whether they were Secret Service or FBI or what, but they wanted me to take them upstairs, so we went up and started searching the various floors. So Shelley is involved in the search here. Did you go up on the 6th floor? Yes, sir. Were you there when they found anything up there? I was. I believe I was on the 6th floor when they found the gun, but we were searching all parts of that floor. And they go into chicken bones. I'm going to skip that. Talks about Charles Givens.
Now, the important point here, folks, is that Victoria Adams has always stated that immediately after the shots, she came down from the 4th floor in the stairway. Okay? You got to understand what Shelley is saying here is that they stood around for 3 or 4 minutes after the shots until Gloria Calvary came back and said the president's been shot. Then they started walking towards the grassy knoll. They were turned around by some policemen, and they came back in the side door on the 1st floor. And it was there they encountered Roy Truly, who told Shelley to watch the elevator. And they asked him, did he see Victoria Adams? And he says, yes, but I think it was later that day up on the 4th floor, which directly contradicts Victoria Adams stating that she immediately came down the stairs and saw Billy Lovelady and Bill Shelley standing by the rear doors by the elevator of the first floor of the school book depository.
Yes, 100%. They seem to have got their story straight by this time, and as much as to discredit Adams' story.
Well, I would say her story is discredited by video evidence. We have Shelley and Lovelady walking down the street towards the grassy knoll. They didn't immediately run back into the building and stand by the elevators, because that's when Victoria Adams would have encountered them.
Right.
She says immediately after the shots, they headed for the stairwell and then came down to the first floor. And then she says that she went out the back door, started going to the grassy knoll, got turned around, blah, blah, blah. So it seems like her version of events is skewed.
Right. Yeah, I 100% agree. And let's see. And then we have, so this was, I guess, April 7th, and Mr. William Shelley was re-interviewed in Dallas by Mr. Joseph Ball. And this is less than 3 pages, so they really get to the point here. They ask Shelley about the guns brought in by Castor, right, on the 20th of November, and the 30-06 Mauser. On November 22nd, when is the last time you saw Oswald? 10 or 15 minutes before 12 on the first floor near the telephone. Did you ever see him again at the police station when they brought him in? You didn't see him anytime in the building after 12? I did not. No. Did you see him after the president was shot? No. Did you at any time after the president was shot tell Oswald to go home? No, sir. Did you tell anyone to go home? No. You didn't tell anyone to leave the building at all? No, sir. Now, when you recall going up to the 6th floor after the shooting, do you? Yes. Do you go over to the southwest corner of the building where there was a window open? No, they had it blocked off. Did you at a later time go over there? No, sir, not for several days afterwards. After they released us to go back to work in the corner, we kept out for several days. Then they go about like 2 pages into these rolling reader boxes and Oswald's clipboard. It's like a bunch of bullshit.
And real quick, Sally, yes, 100%. It was Lovelady in the police station. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. You can tell by his shirt and his ball spot.
Yeah, that's definitely him.
So then, after he testifies to the Warren Commission for the second time, you have this interesting FBI key persons report. William Shelley, Miscellaneous Department, TSBD, advised that he observed Charles Givens, a warehouseman employed by the TSBD, eating a sandwich on the 6th floor. He later learned that from Bonnie Ray Williams that Williams had eaten fried chicken. Shelley stated, according to his recollection, the police officers found these items on the 6th floor, 3 double windows away from the southeast corner. Shelley stated he also believed the soft drink bottle the police officers found was with the chicken bones. So they're still investigating him after this. But let me
real quick. Sally says no. I meant walking away. Not 100%, Sally, because we have the back of them, but their outfits match. We have Shelley in a suit, we have Lovelady in the shirt, and they were on the steps 100%, and they are doing what they said they did, which is walking away from the front steps towards the knoll. So I would say it's like 99% without seeing their face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, eyewitness testimony is always not going to line up consistently all the time.
Video never lies.
That is true. Tape never lie. Well, let's go to Lovelady's day of affidavit, DPD. Worked at the TSBD on the 6th floor, along with Danny Arce, Jack Doherty, Bill Shelley, Charles Gibbons. When the president came by, Bill Shelley and I was standing on the steps in front of the building where I work. After he passed and was about 50 yards past us, I heard 3 shots. There was a slight pause after the first shot. Then the next 2 were right close together. I could not tell where the shots came from, but sounded like they were across the street from us. Again, he's not saying they came from above my head, which is interesting. However, that could have been caused by the echo. After it was over, we went back into the building and I took some police officers up to search the building. I did not see anyone around the building that was not supposed to be there. Our lunch period is from 12 to 12:45. All of us had left the 6th floor to see the president.
Now, here's another inconsistency with Billy Lovelady. Instead of saying, yeah, me and Bill Shelley walked down towards the grassy knoll to see what was up and then came back into the building, he says, after it was over, we went back into the building and I took some police officers on to search the building. Now, he just may be leaving out the part of him and Shelley walking, but it sounds like leaving that part out, that after the shots, they just went right back in the building, which would make it possible for Victoria Adams to see them back by the back door.
Right.
But you just don't know with Billy Lovelady. He was not the sharpest knife in the drawer, folks, mentally.
Yeah. And and this is actually his handwritten DPD statement, Rob, that was transcribed. But there is something here that I want to highlight. If you can see my cursor. After it was over, let's test my cursive here. After it was over, we went back into the building and went to work, crossed out. Part that's not transcribed, which is why you got to check the DPD archives too. So, oy vey.
Yeah.
This is the FBI Lovelady statement. He was in front with his foreman, Bill Shelley, standing on the front doorstep at about 12:30, watching the presidential motorcade pass. At about this time, he heard 3 shots. At first, he thought it was a firecracker or the backfire of a motorcycle. He could not tell from which direction the shots came. He said immediately after hearing the shots, he and Shelley started running towards the presidential car. Okay, a little more context here. But it sped away on Elm Street under the Triple Underpass. He and Shelley then returned to the TSBD building. During this time, he saw no one run out of the building or saw no suspicious individuals. Lovelady advised that one Lee Oswald was employed about 1 month or 2 ago at the TSBD as an order filler, as much as he had access to the entire building where books and school supplies are stored, specifically the basement, the 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th floors. Lovelady advised that one Lee Oswald was employed about 1 or 2 months ago, and Lovelady described Oswald as a loner who never seemed to be very friendly or associate with any of the other employees. At lunch periods, Oswald would go to the 2nd floor on occasion by himself, where he would eat his lunch and read a newspaper. If he did eat his lunch in the lunchroom with the other employees, he would stay by himself and, quote, always had his face in the newspaper. On November 22nd, Lovelady saw Oswald at about 10 a.m. on the 6th floor, at which time he was filling an order. The last contact he had with Oswald was about 11:50 a.m. when Lovelady, Givens, Arce, and another Negro male started down from the 6th floor on the 2 elevators to take their lunch break. As they passed the 5th floor, Lovelady heard Oswald call for them to stop. "Hey guys, stop the elevator, let me on." But one of the 4 told them, "We're going to wash our hands, sorry bro," and did not stop for him. Doesn't sound like someone that's camping out on the 6th floor, but that's just me. After the shooting and his return to the building, Lovelady did not see Oswald at any time.
But the interesting part from that document is that he says they took off running, which we cannot corroborate with the video evidence. They started walking. They may have been walking fast, but they were definitely not breaking out in a run.
Right. Yeah. So this is the same. This is an FBI report the same day, or within a day of the Shelley report I read. But I want to point out one thing here. I heard several loud reports, which I first thought to be firecrackers, and which appeared to me to be in the direction of Elm Street Viaduct, just ahead of the motorcade. I did not at any time believe the shots had come from the Texas Schoolbook Depository building. Billy Lovelady, 4.5 months later. So that is very interesting. I'm trying to pull up because I have Billy Lovelady in 1960. Let me see if I have this here because my PowerPoint seems to have messed up. Was under gun charges. And here, let me get a couple comments here. Something's really going wrong with my PowerPoint here. All the shit I prepared is now gone. So let me figure this out. Oi. All right.
What's up, Zendar?
Hey, Zendar.
Welcome in. Welcome in.
All right. I got it here. And this is also from Premier.com. On January 11th, 1963, Billy Lovelady was interviewed at his place of employment, TSBD, by special agents of the FBI, Lee and Holt, because he had not paid his previous fines for his previous gun charges. And I'm just going to go a couple ahead here. Office, September 1960, Office of Special Investigations, Andrews Air Force Base. So Lovelady was in the Air Force. Advised 3 .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolvers were sold to an officer in North Beach, Maryland, by unidentified individuals believed to be Andrews Air Force Base personnel. Revolvers tentatively identified by OSI, which I believe is Office of Special Investigations, as government property. Paul Krause, Charles Haywood, and Lovelady, military personnel attached to the 1001st Base Supplies Squadron, Andrews Air Force Base, were charged. On the same date, I'm sorry, the font is terrible here. A true bill was returned charging Billy Lovelady with 2 counts of violation of Title 18, Section 641, to wit, 1 or about the 3rd day of September 1960 at Andrews Air Force Base. Lovelady did receive, conceal, and retain with intent to convert to his own use and gain a certain thing of value, to wit, 1 .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver, which was the property of the United States Air Force. So him and his fellow Scafuzas are stealing guns from the Air Force Base and selling them off base. Lovelady did receive and retain his own use and gain a certain thing of value, to wit, 2 .38 caliber revolvers valued at less than $100, which were the property of the U.S. Air Force, knowing the same to have been stolen. So they're saying he did know that they were stolen. He was actually apprehended. So this was in Maryland, right? He was apprehended in January of 1963 by the FBI on a bench warrant issued by the prosecutor in Baltimore for this. But interestingly enough, Rob, guess who paid his fine?
Roy Truly.
Close.
Bill Shelley.
O.V. Campbell, Vice President, TSBD, would advance him $75. Again, like $750. Quick math, to pay the remaining balance of the fine if the charges would be dropped. On January 9th, 1963, subject appeared before U.S. Commissioner Hill and was stated that payment by Billy Lovelady to the clerk is acceptable to the court, and the warrant will then be dismissed. So, definitely someone you could have leverage over, especially if you're in some trouble. I mean, I guess it was semi concluded by then, but you still had the vice president, O.V. Campbell, paying it off. You think he owes him a favor or two, right?
Well, this is something that folks who think that the school book depository was a little something more sinister than just a book depository point to when you have the variety, if you will, of colorful employees working at such a place. And just to comment real quick about Shelley's alleged intelligence background, the dude was literally in the armed forces for a cup of coffee. I mean, we saw his high school picture that was taken in 42. And by 1945, he's working at the school book depository. So what was he in the service for 2 years? I mean, you got to get through basic training and all this other bullshit and figure out what you're going to do. So what was, he didn't go right into being a super spy for a year and then leave to go work at a freaking book supplier, or is this all part of the conspiracy too? They put Bill Shelley in place to run this super secret depository that was really moving guns around and along with books. And you might say, Rob, you sound crazy. But there are people saying this. And I'll get there in a minute.
Yeah, I don't rule it out.
Real quick, I got a pinned comment here.
Sure.
From Jack. Didn't Lovelady have a suspicious death right before the HSCA? He did. It was during the HSCA. I can't remember. I think they did get to talk to him because I believe Robert Groden went and photographed him when he was part of the HSCA. in the shirt that he was wearing that day, supposedly. And I just remember an affidavit from his wife, from Lovelady's wife, stating that this is the shirt that he was wearing that day. We've kept it all these years in a box and put it away, just in case this day ever came. Now it didn't fit as good as it did in 1963, of course, but yeah, I believe he died at like age 42. He was a relatively young guy to have a heart attack, and of course, during a investigation like this, when suspicious deaths are sus, definitely doesn't take away from the whole lore of this thing, right?
Right. Yeah. I just question what else he could have given them at that point.
Well, that's implying that he's part of this sinister thing. Now, Joe, what I did find out about this, where the hell is it? And it harkens back to the book Reasonable Doubt by Henry Hurt. I believe is when this theory first started getting put out there. A suggestion of smuggling activities within the schoolbook depository comes in the form of boxes that are too large to be practical containers of books. Henry Hurt, author of Reasonable Doubt, discovered such boxes while investigating the claims of an alleged conspirator. The man said that a large wooden box, 36 by 48 by 60, and that's almost the dimensions of a normal day wooden pallet, just one side is less than a foot of the other, and then 5 feet tall, was used to import arms into the building and contained a false bottom where rifles were stored. The largest typical box size for books was 12 by 14 by 18 and are made out of cardboard. And when filled with books, weighed 55 pounds. And these are the books that we see, or the boxes that we see strewn all over the 6th floor. They're smaller size that can be moved around.
Right.
And they contained, 12 or 20 books, whatever.
Yeah.
But in 1983, when the building was vacant, Henry Hurt visited, and he saw 7 large wooden boxes on the 6th floor left behind by the schoolbook depository when it moved to a new location in 1970. All 7 boxes had the name of schoolbook publishers stamped on them. One label read Schoolbook Depository, 500 Red Pony Books by John Steinbeck from Bob's Merrill. 3 of the 7 boxes appear in a photograph in his book. By comparing the window next to them, which measured 14 inches off the floor, one box was about 15 by 30 by 60 inches, and thus had an estimated capacity of 15 cubic feet. Since a cubic foot of books is about 25 to 30 pounds, a box such as this, when loaded with books, would have weighed up to 450 pounds, too heavy to manage with a hand cart, and really too heavy to be lugging up the stairs. I mean, I guess they could have taken the elevator. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, as a quick aside, CIA officer William Harvey, Joe, maybe you've heard of him.
I have. He's been in the news recently.
Well, after he retired from the CIA, he went to work for Bob's Merrill Publishing in the last years of his life as a law editor for them.
Wow.
Now, there's a guy by the name of Joe Bergen who visited his father at the 411 Elm Street building. He could not remember when this occurred, but it was before the assassination. But after extensive remodeling had been done on the 3rd and 4th floors to add office suites for the publishing companies. This would put his visit in a period sometime during the summer or fall of 63. When Joe entered the building, he took a recently installed passenger elevator to the 4th floor. Upon exiting the elevator, he saw a short hallway. To his left was a door that led into the office of Scott Forsman. At the end of that hallway to his right was another door, and out of curiosity, he opened it and saw a large storage area that took over half of the square footage of the fourth floor. In this area were numerous cardboard boxes 4 feet square by 5 feet high. Since the floors were not strong enough to accommodate forklifts, he wondered how the warehouse men could have moved such enormous boxes. So there's talk, and this all comes from Henry Hurt's book, and was expounded upon later by William Weston, which I did a couple shows about, and his article was called "The Spider Web of the Schoolbook Depository" or something like that. It was something like that he published.
Into the Spider's Web. E says.
Yep.
It can be found.
In the third or the fourth decade, one of those publications back in the day.
Yeah, third decade, I believe, or fourth. One of them. Yeah, and Fiddle Fork, I had this said Operation 40 being ran out of their Navy, and I had that start before you mentioned William Harvey.
Yeah.
And Love Lady conveniently died of a heart attack. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like super on board with, he was taken out, but you never know. And James said, wow, that sure was a slap on the wrist. Yeah, I mean, he literally stole pistols from Andrews Air Force Base, sold them,
billions,
got caught, and then
got caught 2 years later.
Yeah, and then got arrested in January '63 for not paying the fine, only for O.V. Campbell, vice president of the TSBD, to pay it for him. So
he's a very hard worker, Joe.
Yeah, I must have been.
Now let's get into some of the crazier things. This is if I can find my place here. We'll see where all this shit comes from. Where is my Elsie Glaze letter? God damn it. I literally just had it. Because this is what is going to take us further into the conspiracy realm of things, folks.
I think I have it. Let me know if this is it. Is this it?
I can't see.
Hold on.
Okay, here it is. I got it, Joe.
Okay.
So there was a letter written to the HSCA in 1977. It says, "Dear persons, House of Representatives, Assassination Committee, Washington, D.C. I have some information concerning the assassination of President Kennedy that I wish to submit for your scrutiny. While working as a journalist in Dallas in 1974, I met a person who says she was at that time working for Bill Shelley, who says he was Lee Harvey Oswald's superior at the time of the assassination. According to this person, shortly after going to work for Bill Shelley, she and another new employee were subjected to some rather odd questioning when considering that they were hired as clerks. Two men who identified themselves with ID as members of the FBI approached the two new employees at work and took them to an empty room inside the building. The two new employees were administered a written questionnaire asking about their opinions of current topics of the day. After completing the questionnaire, the two FBI men asked the employees point blank if they were members of the CIA. This incident occurred in 1969. The incident interested me enough to question the FBI about it and possibly do a story on it. However, the woman became terrified at the mention of it, and she said she would deny it if I ever tried to publicize the incident. She and her husband left Dallas shortly afterward. I must admit that my own fear of getting involved in this investigation has prevented me from writing you earlier, and I apologize. Please excuse this messy letter. Of all times to break down, my typewriter chose tonight to do it. Obviously, my handwriting has long been broken down. If you should need to contact me, you may do so in care of the Lubbock Avalanche Journal newspaper in Lubbock, Texas. I'm a reporter there. God bless you all. Nervously yours, Elsie Dean Glaze. Right?
Yep. The glaze letters, as they're referred to.
Yes. Now, Elsie Glaze, whoever this mysterious person was that wrote these letters, had many meetings with Bill Shelley in the early 70s. And Bill Shelley allegedly said some things in here that are very interesting. And here's another one. This is, well, let's see. Make sure that's the right one. Sorry, folks. There's a lot going on here.
Yes.
Okay. So there was another letter written. This one in 1989 to Doug Kellner and Frank Morrow of the Alternative Information Network, located in Austin, Texas, regarding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Dear Mr. Kellner and Mr. Morrow, while working as a journalist in 1974 and early 75, I met and spoke with Lee Harvey Oswald's supervisor at the Texas School Book Depository in Dallas, Texas. Excuse me. At this time, the School Book Depository had been relocated to a warehouse near the intersection of Royal Lane and Interstate 35. During the same time, I also met and spoke with relevant employees who later worked for Lee Harvey Oswald's supervisor, Bill Shelley, after the assassination of Kennedy. One of these said employees, her husband and child, disappeared without a trace a few hours after granting me an interview. So he's hearkening back to the letter that he wrote the HSCA. In addition, all my interview notes and tapes inexplicably disappeared. Finally, under threats and intense harassment from the Dallas police, I was forced to flee Dallas in early 75. In late 77, while working as a reporter for the Avalanche Journal in Lubbock, Texas, I submitted written testimony to the United States House of Representatives, Robert Blakey. My testimony included numerous meetings with a man named Bill Shelley. I am no longer certain of the correct spelling of the last name. Shelley was Oswald's supervisor at the time, and Shelley claims to have been an intelligence officer during World War II and thereafter joined the CIA. So this guy, Elsie Glaze, is claiming that Bill Shelley told him that after leaving the service and being an intelligence officer during World War II, that he joined the CIA. Now, folks, I'm not very good at math and dates and all that, but I'm pretty sure that if you started working at the School Book Depository in 1945, the CIA wasn't even established until 1947.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a couple years to get their shit together and hire people up and figure out what they're doing. You're looking at 48, 49 before they really get rolling and in the thick of the shit by like 1950, right? Now, can somebody work in two places at one time, Joe? Is that possible?
I mean, possible in the documentary record, I guess.
Bill Shelley claims that he was arrested by the Dallas police and formally charged, Joe. So not detained.
Mhm.
He was arrested and formally charged with the assassination of President Kennedy. He claims the charges were later dropped after Oswald was arrested, but he stated that he turned away several newspapers and magazines offering huge amounts of money for his personal account of the assassination, and he refused to let me quote him or use his name in print for this information. One of the aforementioned employees, which name I can't recall, stated that when she went back to work for Bill Shelley at the schoolbook depository in the early 70s, she was interviewed for the job by some type of government agents, which we already talked about, the FBI. Asked her if she was CIA, which is weird. The employee said that fellow employees were subjected to similar job interviews by government agents. As mentioned, the woman, her husband, and young child disappeared within hours after my interview. Their apartment looked as if no one had ever lived in it, and all I remember is that her husband was previously a member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Joe. She didn't show up for work the next day and didn't pick up her final paycheck. Their whereabouts are completely unknown. Maybe we'll have to check the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's tour schedule in 1974. I don't know. And then he says, insofar as I know, the information has never been made public. Feel free to use any part of it as you please. Please contact me before mentioning my name to anyone. I just want to be forewarned. There's a very large spider guarding this web of secrecy. I have entered their webs, but this one is different because the spider leaves the web and stalks the prey, sometimes for many years. By the way, I'm a Mr. and not a Ms., as the letter from Blakey indicates. In solidarity, name inked out. CC my will. Huh. So this guy is pretty scared. LZ Glaze.
Right.
Now, William Weston kind of pontificates here a little bit. And, this is by this time is in the late 80s, early 90s. And he's saying, what could all be a hoax? But it sounds sincere. There's a lot of facts that LZ Glaze gives out that should be easy enough to verify, I would think. Like if a reporter named Glaze has ever worked for the Lubbock newspaper, the Avalanche, should be pretty easy to establish that, right? If a journalist named Glaze was living in Dallas in 74, 75, should be easy enough to establish. If there is or was an alternative information network in Austin, or if Kellner and Morrow existed and are real people and remember ever receiving this letter. If it's true that Shelley was affiliated in some way with the CIA or U.S. intelligence, that would be disturbing and potentially significant development. Well, no shit. So these tips were put forth by researcher Larry Harris. So William Weston decided that he was going to try to follow up and figure this shit out once and for all, right? So apparently Doug Kellner and Frank Morrow are real people, and they were co-hosts of a program called Alternative Views on the Alternative Information Network that was founded by them two. It was first broadcast in 1978 on public access television in Austin, Texas. In 1984, they began sending tapes of their programs to public access channels in Dallas and San Antonio, and then to other cities around the country, hence the name of the umbrella organization, the Alternative Information Network. I called Doug Kellner, and he answered the phone. I described to him the contents of the letter, and he said he never saw it, and said it was strange that I should possess a letter that was addressed to him. He asked that a copy of the letter be sent to him to his home, not the business address, and that after he read it, he would check into it. 2 weeks later, I made a follow-up call, and Kellner said that his partner, Frank Morrow, vaguely remembered the letter, but could not provide any additional information. I next called John Peets, Joe, the manager of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Oh, okay.
The band started out in '66 in Long Beach, California, and became known for its unique blend of country and rock. It achieved commercial success in 1970 with a hit song entitled Mr. Bojangles.
Oh, really? I know that song.
Maybe you've heard it.
Yeah, I have.
In 1992, the band was still active, touring the country and recording albums. I asked Pete if he knew any member of the band who disappeared in Dallas in the mid-'70s, and he said there were 2 musicians who had been with the band since the beginning and that he would speak to them. During a follow-up call, he told me that the 2 musicians were not in contact with any former members of the band and knew nothing of their whereabouts or their current activities. It was not until 1999 that I located and spoke with Leslie Thompson, one of the original members. And although he left the band in December of '73, he was certain that the musician who disappeared in Dallas was not among the core members of the band. Instead, he might have been one of the temporary musicians in the mid-'70s. The band employed a 10-piece orchestra to back them up while touring and recording.
Wow.
So again, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band is a big ensemble band with some main members that stayed as its core. And then it brought in other musicians to play with it and record with them.
Right.
So it's possible, but nobody really remembers exactly who in the hell these people were. But that's not the end of the story. So fast forward to William Weston. William Weston gets a letter in 1999, Joe. And it says this: thank you for your kind words and interest. All that I know and the attending dead ends were passed along to a researcher and author in Dallas a few years ago. He's about to publish his book, and as you can understand, friendship and loyalty make me reluctant to discuss this matter with anyone else. And perhaps it's a moot point anyway, because based on what you've told me, you know more than I do. Mine was a happenstance meeting and short, casual friendship with a man who appeared to have fallen through the cracks. Had the seemingly insignificant trail of breadcrumbs I stumbled across had not been so he avidly guarded, I might never have given it a second thought. My actions were less courageous than they were the result of being naive. I was up to my neck before I realized it. You may have noticed that at the end of my letter to the alternative views, I carbon copied to my will because he was scared to death. It was intended as a jab at myself, lest I get too full of myself rereading it 50 years from the time I wrote it. With that, I pass along my rather tiny candle, plus my best wishes and encouragement. Those generations who were there in '63 are grateful that people like you are continuing the pursuit and taking another look at events which may have been too shocking for the rest of us to ever fully comprehend. Perhaps that is why I was so unprepared during that brief step into the looking glass. Sincerely, Dean Glaze. As far as I know, the unknown Dallas author who interviewed has not published said book yet. LZ Dean Glaze passed away on November 15th, 2019. And there is an obituary from the Austin American Statesman newspaper published on December 15th, 2019, folks. LZ Dean Glaze, age 66, is celebrated by his family for compassion, humor, and willingness to help family and friends at large. He was an accomplished journalist and author and had worked as a radio engineer in his early career. And blah, 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 blah. Dean was the son of LZ Glaze and Geneva Glaze, who was born in Lubbock, Texas. He passed away on November 15th, 2019, after a fall causing a brain injury. Well, that's a tough way to go.
Yeah.
He is loved and will always be remembered by his wife Sylvia, daughter Haley, and sister, brothers, nieces, nephews, and friends. He enjoyed giving to others and loved the companionship of his 4 dogs. Many notes and gifts, often created by him, are left for us as a tribute to his kindness and love. So, he was a junior, Elsie Glaze Jr.
Mhm.
So, that's some crazy stuff, Joe. Now, I've got a couple other things. You got some comments you want to get to? Or have you been throwing them up
No.
while I'm talking?
Yeah, I was throwing a couple up. Sally's going to bed. Of course, she's like 5, 6 hours ahead of us. So good night, Miss Sally.
Yes.
And Fiddlefork says, I'm very familiar with the dirt band. These had to be the side musicians because the core band was together for a long time.
Right,
Yeah, well, I
right.
mean, it's not like unlikely to like hire an orchestra section or like uh, trumpets or whatever, for some certain type of shows. So
So this is a picture, I believe, from the Tom Aaliyah film that was recorded inside the school book depository on the 6th floor and elsewhere in the building on the 22nd of November 1963.
yeah, cops
And
love their coffee.
Bill Shelley is getting himself some coffee along with a bunch of other cops. He's hanging out and chilling with them up on the 6th floor. So that's kind of proof that he was there.
Yeah, and taken up. So you have Truly and Baker going up, and then I guess you have Shelley and Lovelady going up with officers at a different point, which is
Right.
interesting.
And of course, here's a still image of the moving film that from the couch film that Joe showed earlier, and then highlighted in the background are the 2 individuals that look a lot like Bill Lovelady on the left. I'm sorry, Bill Shelley on the left and Bill Lovelady on the right.
Mhm.
Their clothes kind of match what they were wearing, hairstyles, and they're walking down towards the grassy knoll there. Let's get rid of that one. I'm knocking these out, Joe, as we go.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that one already.
Yeah, and one of his biggest features is his cheekbones that are like really skinny, right? Like they come in a lot, like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Now here's something that kind of contradicted something. Okay,
Okay.
and this is from I found this on his Find a Grave page,
Yeah.
and it says here, and they pull shit from like ancestry and documents and all this stuff, right? So down towards the bottom, it says William Hoyt Shelley uh, died on September 6th, 1996. They pulled that from the Texas Death Index, right, during his couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And then right above that in the middle, you have William Hoyt Shelley, the Social Security Death Index, when he was born and when he died, last living in Irving. Now at the top here, this is odd to me. U.S. Social Security applications and claims. This is when you start drawing. You either start drawing your Social Security benefits or you apply to get them early for some reason, like you can't work anymore, or you have some kind of condition, or your wife dies, or something, right?
Right. Right. Are you referencing the 1936, him being 10 years old at the time?
No, that's just the time frame of Social Security applications and claims.
Oh, I see. I see.
Okay. What I'm referring to here is the submission date of May 3rd, 1977. So why is Bill Shelley putting in to draw Social Security in 1977
At 51.
at 51 years old? Does that seem odd to anybody else? I mean, he damn sure didn't look good in his obituary picture, but he would go on to live another 20 years almost.
Right.
So how bad off was he? I don't know. It seems odd to me, Joe. That something stuck out to me that says, I don't know about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I went back and I found and figured. So he stopped working at the school book depository proper in 1970, right? And he went to work for a publishing company after that.
Right. Forsman, I believe, which was on the 4th floor. Scott Forsman, I think.
Now, at some point in reading through all of this stuff and going on Ancestry, I found out where Bill Shelley was living in Dallas. So I do what I do best, and I Googled it. Say hello to this mini McMansion. Yo,
It looks pretty nice. I'm not
on
gonna lie.
Rosebud Drive. Now, what you see here is one driveway. Okay, because there are two. This is one driveway. Looks like you fit 2 cars wide, probably 3 or 4 cars deep on this bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
What
made of stone, not brick. It's fucking stone.
Yeah.
Right? And what you're looking at is all house. There ain't no garage there. It's all house.
Right.
Because I'll show you where the garage is, Joe.
Around the side. Yeah.
It's around back through the other driveway. It's painted blue and it's sitting right in the back there. But look at the depth on this house. You see how it goes in, and then there's a whole nother piece on the backside of it that goes way up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big ass house. How big is it, Rob? Well, I'll tell you, because Zillow is a fucking awesome resource. How about 3,500 square foot, Joe? How about this fucking house was built in 1969, Joe?
Yeah.
So you're telling me Bill Shelley could afford, as the supervisor of the miscellaneous division at the school book depository, a 3,500 square foot house containing 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms at the time, with a detached 2-car garage, which, oh, by the way, adds a lot more square footage, 2 driveways built of stone. This is probably new construction at the time he bought it.
Yeah.
How in the hell do you afford this at the time? With a wife who probably didn't work and kids. Now, I know things were different back then. I get that. But there's certain levels to this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe there is something to the fact that he was making a little money on the side doing something else.
Right.
Just saying. Not 100% sure. Not saying that's the case, but he's living in a damn nice house in a damn nice neighborhood in Dallas in a recently newly built stone 3,500 square foot house with a 2-car detached garage with 2, count them, Joe, not 1, but 2 driveways. Who the fuck has 2 driveways?
Yeah. It's a very nice house for
Not me.
a warehouse manager. Yeah, not me.
Manager of the miscellaneous department.
Yeah.
Been working at the same job for 25 years at this point.
Yeah.
How? Maybe his parents were loaded and left him a shit ton of money. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Maybe his wife's family had money. Anything's possible.
Of course.
But this just adds to the lore and the texture of the
Right.
Is there something here with Bill Shelley being a little more nefarious than what we just think that he was?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have no doubt that him and Lovelady lied in their Warren Commission testimony to kind of make sure all the timing worked out, whether it was discrediting Victoria Adams' testimony or what they were doing exactly right after the shots. Did they run after the car right after the shots? Uh, were they in the Middle Island? Did they go up to the to the railroad tracks and watch police search the railroad cars, which they said too? Something is not adding up here, and I think
There's a lot of inconsistencies in all of this,
right,
and not just between Shelley, Lovelady, and Adams, and Styles, and Truly, and and is the FBI doing all this shit? Are they changing testimony, just not getting everything to sync up right? Or is it the people themselves that are, being told, hey, we figured the shots came from here. You can't say you heard them over here and blah, blah, blah. And people just went along with whatever they said. But, people like Victoria Adams said that the FBI just blatantly changed her testimony to match with what Shelley and Lovelady said.
right, right.
And where's the truth lie in this? I have no flipping idea.
No.
As per the usual, we're left with more questions than answers. We're trying to bring you answers, but when you parse all this stuff out, and who knows who this LZ Glaze dude is, right? Turns out he was a legit guy. Turns out he was a real guy. How does he get an interview with Bill Shelley in the 70s? And Bill Shelley tells him, "Oh yeah, I worked for the CIA."
Right.
Where does that come from? And I can understand a little bit of, I don't think the FBI, but maybe, I don't think the FBI would have been screening potential employees of the School Book Depository in the late 60s. I could be wrong. There was probably a lot of looky-loos and freaky deeks and people like us who just wanted to get in that building
Yeah.
and walk around, search shit, take pictures.
Yeah.
But I mean, was the FBI really screening potential employees? It's possible. But for that long after the assassination, I don't know. You think that at some point they'd be like, all right, guys, you all are responsible for your own security at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we've given you 6 good long years here, or 3 or 4 good long years here, screening your employees for you. We're done. Here you go.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you think about Shelley being born in 26, starting to work at the book depository at 45, that's 19 years old, right? There's not that much time for him to create some distinguished career in intelligence, right? Although he definitely could have been doing some shady shit on the side, for sure.
Yeah, who knows? But like I said, the CIA wasn't even formed until 47. And he had already been working at the School Book Depository. So how does somebody like that in some little shit town in Dallas, Texas, is this book depository really running guns? I mean, it seems like a fantastical thing to me. Like, the much more reasonable scenario would be, one guy or a couple guys are running guns, like Lauren Hall or Lawrence Howard or Johnny Martin or whatever. You're not. Why would you try to incorporate a legitimate state-run business into gun running activities ran by the CIA? I don't know. Crazier things have happened, I suppose.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And real quick, Joe, hold on.
Sure.
Peaches is up in here. She says, just joy. Did anyone else see or mention the Luna believes NBC has a film showing Oswald outside at or around the time of the shots? Seen it. It's old news, Peaches. She's referring to the Darnell film and Prayer Man. So that's all it is. It's nothing new or anything like that. It's news to her because, you know, Bart doesn't get the play that he should. Nor does NBC come off with the footage that they should, but that's what she's referring to. She's referring to the Prayer Man image that's allegedly Oswald caught on film out in front of the schoolbook depository. That's all that is.
Yeah. And also mention that none of Shelley or Lovelady or Frazier, for that matter, said that Oswald was out there when he said he was out there for 5-10 minutes. Day
He's
of.
just taking his steps just off in space.
Yeah. You would think that they would have mentioned that. And one other thing, this I have one other thing here I want to get to. This did I show the newspaper article of the man of honor, Bill Shelley? Did I do that yet?
See what?
Did I show this? So
dog.
So this is at the wedding of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Lee. Funny enough, ironic. Calvary. Miss
Gloria
Calvary.
Calvary. She worked at the.
She worked at the TSBD, and that's who Shelley said that he ran into on the knoll. That said, "Oh my God, the president's been shot." Well, if you look at it here, and this is also from Perman, Bill Shelley served as best man at the wedding. So quite a convenient, I'm going to go all the way back, quite a convenient alibi or someone to say that you ran into. Let me go all the way back here. Right? The girl, we ran to a girl. I ran across the street to the corner of the park and ran to a girl carrying, and she said the president's been shot. This girl's name. Crying. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Girl's name is
carrying tears.
Yeah. Girl's name is Gloria Calvary, who is an employee of the same building. So interesting that he's giving that alibi day of someone. I guess he later served as the best man. So I mean, there are so many inconsistencies with Lovelady and Shelley's movements right after the assassination. I think they were somewhat coerced into saying certain things to make their stories line up, to discredit Victoria Adams, to kind of fit into the timeline as we've
keep their jobs,
yeah, to keep possible.
Like you said, Lovelady is pliable. The black guys are pliable.
Yeah, and at this point, it's survival of the fittest, bro. You know what I mean? You have the whole federal apparatus coming down on you, state apparatus. What are you gonna align yourself with? The person accused of shooting the president, or the person on Sunday who was killed and silenced forever. There's no need to do that.
Or do you just go along with the official story?
Yeah. So I think a lot of that was happening with Lovelady. And Shelley, I'm not sure about his intelligence ties. It is really interesting that so little is known about his early years. And I think Bart has obviously done a great job at kind of digging those junior ROTC things up. But, and that hospital report of William H. Shelley being admitted to Colorado City Hospital in Texas. Fascinating. I don't know what to make of it, man. I think there's a lot more going on here. I'm not sure if it ties in directly to the assassination plot.
And tangentially, are you familiar, Joe, with CIA finance officer James Wilcott in his HSCA testimony?
Vaguely.
He's the guy who claims to have been a paymaster for the CIA and made payments to Oswald.
New Orleans.
No,
No.
in Japan.
Okay. Oh, in Japan, right. Okay, yes.
Yeah. And what he told the HSCA in the 70s, James Wilcott, now I don't know how legit this guy is either, but he said, and I quote, several different individuals or firms in Dallas had been involved in one way or another with acting as cutouts for arms shipments to Cuban exiles for the invasion. This we concluded from putting various pieces of information together. I remember hearing about some CIA people who had somehow helped the right-wing Minutemen in Texas to get arms originally intended for the invasion. Among the Dallas individuals and companies engaged in supplying arms to Cuban exiles and the Minutemen might have been the ones occupying the building at 411 Elm Street. And of course, I think Fiddle brought it up earlier that D.H. Byrd owned the school book depository.
Right.
D.H. Byrd, former president or founder or whatever of the Civil Air Patrol, which of course David Ferry was a part of and Lee Oswald was a part of, and an oil man, extremely wealthy and extremely right wing.
Yeah.
So that's not out of the realm of possibility. He did say that under oath to the HSCA, Jack.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lie to you.
Yeah.
And here's another. So just to clarify, so we get this whole timeline straight because there's lots of conflicting information here, Joe.
Lots. Yeah.
So Victoria Adams and Sandra Stiles' story is this: that less than a minute after the assassination, they were on the 4th floor and they ran down the stairs to the 1st floor. Near the 2 freight elevators were Shelley and Billy Lovelady. Adams said, "I believe the president's been shot." And neither Shelley nor Lovelady said anything in reply. They just sat there and looked at him. Immediately after, Adams and Stiles went out the back door. Officer Marion Baker came in through the front door and met Roy Truly. He saw 2 white men sitting by the stairs, by the elevator. Before going up to the stairs, Truly paused to tell Shelley to guard the stairs and the elevators and make sure no one uses them. In Barry Ernest's book, The Girl on the Stairs, the reader will read that Vicki Adams and Sandra Stiles told Barry Ernest that they did not see either Shelley or Lovelady when they descended from the 4th floor to the 1st. The Warren Commission did all they could to delay the arrival time on the 1st floor by Adams and Stiles in order to remove the 2 girls from the stairs when Oswald would have likely been on them. And this likely included coaxing Shelley and Lovelady into making an ersatz trip across the street to the railroad yards before their return to the Texas School Book Depository, which is now when they said they saw Adams and Stiles. But we have it in the couch film when they're walking down the fucking street.
Right.
So again, we still don't know who is telling the truth here. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And get this, Joe, about a minute or 2 later, NBC News reporter Robert McNeil, famous of the McNeil Lair Hour when I was growing up, came in through the front door, amazed to see 3 calm men standing there, Joe. He says, and I quote, Jack, sorry, I went immediately into the clear space on the ground floor and asked where there was a phone. There were, as I recall, 3 men there, all, I think, in shirt sleeves. Well, I hope they had shirts on. What, on recollection, strikes me as possibly significant is that all 3 seemed to be exceedingly calm and relaxed compared to the pandemonium which existed right outside their front glass doors. I did not pay attention to this at the time, but I asked the first man I saw, a man who was telephoning from a pillar in the middle of the room, where I could call from. And he directed me to another man near the door who pointed to an office. And when I got to the phone, 2 of the lines were lit up. I made my call and left. I was in too much of a hurry to remember what the 3 men looked like, but their manner was very relaxed. The man using the payphone was Bill Shelley.
Right.
For an affidavit made out on the same afternoon, he says, and I quote, I went back into the building from outside where he viewed the shooting and went inside and called my wife and told her what happened. Lovelady must have been one of the other calm men, since, as previously noted, he made no response when Adams said that the president had been shot. The third calm man was probably Wesley Frazier, who stuck close to Shelley and Lovelady after going back into the building and before going down to the basement. After standing on the front steps to see the shooting of the president, Frazier did something odd about which he seemed to contradict himself about in an interview with the 6th Floor Museum in 2013. He said that he went back inside and went to the basement for 10 minutes, eating his lunch. But there was a fourth calm man, perhaps unnoticed by McNeil, who was getting a Coke on the 2nd floor. According to one of the FBI reports of the first interrogation of Oswald in the Dallas Homicide Office, and I quote, Oswald stated that he took this Coke down to the 1st floor and stood around and had lunch in the employees' lunchroom. He thereafter went outside and stood around for 5 or 10 minutes with foreman Bill Shelley, and thereafter went home. He stated he left work because, in his opinion, based on remarks by Bill Shelley, that he did not believe that there was going to be any more work that day due to the confusion in the building.
Right.
Pierce, did we talk about Pierce Allman yet? No, Pierce Allman.
No, but Fiddlefolk just commented about him.
Yep, I'm getting there. Pierce Allman, a local newsman, later said that after he approached the schoolbook depository, a man he recalled as Oswald near the front of the building directed him to a phone inside. Excuse me.
Yep.
Considering the noise of gun blasts and the uproar going on outside, it's odd that Oswald continued to be unconcerned. Like Frazier, who was, quote, eating lunch in the basement. Sure you were. Oswald went to the 1st floor lunchroom to eat his lunch. The fact that he went and got his gun afterwards and then walked to the Texas Theater, perhaps to meet with someone, this suggests he had some kind of agenda to fulfill. What it was is hard to guess. Yet, judging by the disgust in his voice when he said at the police station, I'm just a patsy, he probably did not know that he would be the one accused of killing the president. So, just a lot of odd stuff, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much closer we are to figuring it out, Joe, than we were at the beginning of the show. But
yeah,
that's how we do you around here. Apparently.
Yeah. I wonder if I mean, I guess the day of statement would kind of go against this argument, but I wonder if Shelley replaced Vicky Adams with the cavalry, you know?
Yeah, who knows? James says, any Minuteman connection with TSBD peeps? Well, I don't know about, I think Warren Castor was definitely a right winger, and he's the guy that brought 2 rifles into the schoolbook depository the day before the assassination that Joe read about.
I think it was
I think
it was the Wednesday, but either way.
Either way, You got some Scafoos are bringing rifles into the building.
Yeah. 30-06 and 22, I believe.
And Bill Shelley was do you have a picture of his gravestone again, Joe?
Yeah.
And blow that some bitch up big.
All right.
I want to show everybody something on his tombstone. Right below his name. If you can zoom in on that, Joe. What's it say?
Lovers of Kerry Blue Terriers.
For those of you who don't know, Bill Shelley, big, and I mean big, into
Dog breeding.
show dogs.
As was Lovelady, I heard too, right?
As was Roy Truly.
Oh, truly. Okay.
Yes. And maybe a parrot or two. There's a very funny document out there that talks about Roy Truly, and he always walked around with a parrot on his finger. But
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember.
digress.
Yeah. No, that is I mean, listen, to put that on a tombstone, it means it's significant.
Now I've never heard of this dog, but I'm gonna Google it some bitch right now and take a look and see. Oh boy.
What a Kerry Blue Terrier is?
Oh boy. Wait till you see this thing, Joe.
Oh man.
Hold tight. It's worth the wait. Trust me. Oh boy. Now, how one man could love this kind of dog so much that he's going to put this thing on his tombstone, folks. Here you go.
Yeah.
I'm uploading it right now. Here we go. Look at that thing. How can that fucking dog even see? Where are his eyes?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to use like sixth sense to get around.
Yeah. It's definitely not a hunting
Like
terrier.
cut his fucking hair. Like to me, this is animal cruelty. Like I know sometimes, dog in nature, they have unfortunate genes that prevent them from, being able to see. But goddamn, man.
Damn. So he breeding them.
He's breeding them, he's showing them, and he loves them very much. Like so much that he puts it on his tombstone.
It's very interesting.
That's weird.
It's weird.
So was Hoyt weird? Yeah, he was weird.
Yeah.
Toto.
Yeah, I bet he smelled the dog shit constantly. Yeah, Ken. Yeah,
At the very least, dog piss.
yeah.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah, definitely. I think some shenanigans going on here with Shelley and Lovelady for sure. I'm not sure about him being a secret agent or involved in the plot. I more see him as maybe involved in some shady shit and kind of went along with the official story.
Yeah.
After all was said and done, because what's the point of refusing? Even though both Shelley said the shots came from the west, and Lovelady, who by the way was smuggling guns, said, "I'm sure no shots came from the TSBT."
And in the armed forces.
Yeah.
And doing hoodlum shit.
Yeah.
All likely knew what a rifle sounds like being shot.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
like a big firecracker.
Yeah. We've covered all the people that said that, but I don't know. It's probably something we're never gonna fully know. Obviously, Bart has done tremendous amount of work on this, and
Definitely check out his work. Check out William Weston's work. Check out Henry Hurt's work on the subject, and check out John Armstrong's work. He's got a PDF on his website, John Armstrong, called "Escape from the Sixth Floor." where it has a lot of diagrams and interesting pictures about Sandra Styles and Victoria Adams' story, and of course the Shelley and Lovelady story, where he tries to figure it out, and he does about a good a job as we do, which was not that good. So,
Yes.
with that being said, Joe, grab the damn dog, shave your kitty, and let's get up out of here.
All right, we got the comment of the night, a Mauser Schnauzer by the Double D.
Nice.
He wins the chat. Yes.
He does. He does. Thank you, folks, for hanging out with us this evening. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week with another book review, another member show. If you want to check it out, you got to be a covert operator or higher. So either join up or upgrade your spooky membership. And we'll start the new month again next week. And those who are not going to be privy to see that, we'll see you next Friday. We'll be here.
Yep, we might have a guest for you. You never know. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will see you on Wednesday or Friday.
Yes, we love you. Check out the links in the description. Support the show. Hit the like button. Share this shit everywhere.